Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, the Brownson Sky Library. So because I haven't been doing a lot of videos on my channel, especially within the past like 8-10 months, I thought I would do mini book reviews of the books that I haven't talked about in that time frame. And so yeah, I thought I would do 4 in this video. So I'll have this part 1, and then I'll have a part 2, and I'll talk about the other 4 in that video. That way I'm not talking about like 8 books in one video, and that way it's not like a long video. So I will be talking about the first 4 today, and then the next 4 in my next video. I like to repeat myself, gosh darn. So anyway, let's start with the first book that I think the last book that I talked about, like fully talked about my whole, like a review, I think would be Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I might not have made like a dedicated review to it, but I did have a 24-hour reading vlog about that book, and so I gave, I think, full thoughts on that. So I'm going to do the book that I read after that, and then the books after that. So yeah, I think the book that I read after that, actually I don't know why I said I think the book. I know the book that I read after Gallant was this, which is The Fragile Threads of Power, which is another V.E. Schwab book. And this one is the sequel series. It's the first book in the sequel series to the Shades of Magic series. I really liked the Shades of Magic trilogy by her, and so I thought that I would read this one, and I thought I would love it, and I did. I did really enjoy it. I don't think it's like my favorite of hers at all. I think on like my Fable and my Story Graph, I gave it, I think, 4 stars. And I think the reason for that is because I struggled for the first like half of it. I think I felt like it was just very slow moving, and there's no problem with like slow moving books. Like I do like slow moving books. I just don't particularly, I don't know where I was going with that thought. I'm gonna be honest. So anyway, I don't mind slow-moving books, but with this one, it took me a little bit longer to connect to the characters. I think that's what it was, is like I wasn't connecting to the characters, even though we have some of the like same characters from the first trilogy. Like we have Alucard, and we have Lila, we have Kell, and Kell is my favorite character. And we have Rai, I think that's his name. Oh, shoot. I forgot the prince's name. But we have, like, a lot of the same characters. It's just we have some new characters, and I wasn't connecting to them yet. Until about, like, halfway through the book, something just, like, happened. I don't even remember what it was, but something happened, and I was like, now we're getting somewhere. And then also, that's when I started to really connect to our main character, which is Tess. I'm pretty sure this is Tess on the cover. I started really connecting to her in like halfway through the book, and that's also again where like I think the plot starts to pick up. This book was definitely very much a like a world building book. Like it's a book. What did I put in my notes? Hold on. I didn't put anything in my notes. Anyway, so yeah, this is basically just a build-up book to what is truly happening in the rest of the series. And while I think that's great, it's just I wish there would have been a little more stuff at the beginning that would like help me like it. But I still ended up really enjoying it, and I really liked, again, yeah, I really liked Tess, but I really liked the magic that Tess has. That, yeah, I think it was a really cool thing to see how she can like fix broken magic. Like she can see the threads of power that people have, and because like people have like certain threads of power. Oh my gosh, it looks like a thread of power coming off, like radiating off of them or something. I don't know if that's the best explanation, but that's what I have for you right now. But she can see those threads, and she can take those threads and like put them back together, basically. So it was really cool to see that, and I really enjoyed it. And then I struggled with Lila. I've always struggled with Lila's character, even in the other books. I just feel like she's a little too rough for me. Like, I just want to see a little more softness to her. Like, there was a moment where Kel was very vulnerable, and I just remember her being like, and I was like, girl, why can't you just be vulnerable with, like, the man you've been with for 7+ years? Like, I don't understand why you're such, I don't know. I just want, like, a more, I just want to see that softer side. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I think about this book. I did really enjoy it. I usually don't rate my books, but because I got the Fable app and the Storygraph app, I just give a rating just to give a rating. So I would, like, I gave it like a 4 out of 5, like I mentioned earlier, but if I'm being honest, like, I like the 10 scale better. I might give it like a 7 out of 10, or like a 7.5, more like a 7, or like a 7.2 out of 10. Anyway, but that's The Fragile Threads of Power. Now, the next book that I read after The Fragile Threads of Power is a hit or miss for a lot of people, and that would be Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. Yeah, this is when I first, so I actually recorded a video like months ago talking about these specific books. I just never got around to editing the video, and it's been so long that I'm just not going to edit that one, and I'm just redoing it. But I remember wanting to, in that like video, I wanted to do this thing where I actually looked at like negative reviews on these books and talk about it and like give my thoughts on that. So like I looked at a lot of negative reviews, some of them about this book. Some of them said that the main character was super obnoxious. People said that the writing is, they didn't say it in these words, but they said like it's kind of janky and doesn't really make sense. And those were the two main things that I saw. I don't remember everything that they said, but they are not wrong. Like, I saw what they said and I was like, you know what? You're not wrong. But I still gave this 4.7 out of like 5 stars. I would probably, on the 10 scale, I would probably give it maybe like an 8 out of 10, and or maybe like an 8.5. I honestly don't exactly know for sure what I would give it, because like they're not wrong. So basically, like, it's really hard to explain, especially since I haven't read this in like months, and so I don't remember everything. But basically, there are these people on a ship. They have like from different like provinces, and each person that is on this ship has this like magical power, this like endowment, and they're the only ones who have it in like their province. And so they're kind of like the leaders of their province or something. And like this magical power is like passed down to them. And they have like this big, huge like trip on this like ship with all of these people together. And our main character actually isn't endowed with this magical power. He's just pretending to be. And that is actually like a pretty bad like sin, I guess you could say. Wow, I'm sounding so Mormon right now. But that's basically what it is. Like, it's taboo to, like, it's not okay to, like, not have this magical power and be, like this like person, be like the leader of your province and stuff, but because he's not getting his like power, his magical power, he's like older than like some of the other guys. Because he's not getting this power, his dad is like, whatever, just fake it. So that's where we're at with this. And then while they're all on this ship, murders start happening, so people start dying, and our main character is trying to figure out what's happening, and that is why I loved this book. The mystery alone is why I loved this book. Like, I have my own, like, book journal, and I write down things as, like, I'm reading. Some books I don't do it as much, but with this book I did it a lot, and I had so much fun being immersed in this story, and I had so much fun, like, interacting with this book that all of the negative things that people said about it just, like, doesn't bother me. So, yeah, the main character, super obnoxious, not gonna lie. Like, if you don't want an obnoxious character, then you probably won't want to read this book. But his obnoxiousity? That's not a word. Holy crap. Anyway, his obnoxiousness is not something that really, like, bothered me so much. But I will say, I will give people credit in, like, the negative reviews that I read. Like, it is totally fair that they didn't like this book because of that, and it's totally fair that they didn't like the book because of its writing, because the writing really was janky at times. I felt like there would be times where it just kind of felt like Vertigo or something. I was like, 1 second, like, she wrote that this character was here, and then now all of a sudden they're, like, right here? Or did I, like, read that wrong? Like, are they able to, like, transport? Like, they're not. That's not their magical ability. They only have one, and it's, like, one is to, like, shapeshift, and one is to... I don't even remember every single one. But anyway, one is, like, a very huge empath. I think that's one of their abilities, one of the person's abilities. Anyway, but... so, like, all of a sudden, like, in the writing, I'm just like, wait, am I reading this wrong? Like, weren't they just sitting down and now they're standing up? Weren't they just standing up and now they're sitting down? Like, when did this happen? Like, I don't need, like, so-and-so did this, and then so-and-so did that, and then this happened, and then that happened. Like, we don't have to have the writing like that, but it was still, like, the way she wrote it, I was just like, huh? Like, I don't understand. Like, at all. And then also some of the, like, world building didn't make sense. Like, she was very contradictory in her world building a lot. Like, she would say one thing and then, like, this other thing was, like, happening that contradicted what she just said. And I was like, I don't understand. And so the world building aspect of this book, not the greatest, but I seriously loved trying to figure out who was the murderer, why they were murdering these people, and how they were murdering these people. I just really enjoyed it, and I really loved interacting with it. It was so much fun. I had so much fun with it, and that's why my score is might be a little too high for this book, but I still really enjoyed it. So anyway, that's this book. Alright, and then the book after Voyage of the Damned was another mystery thriller novel, but it wasn't fantasy, it was fiction. There's no fantasy in this. Wow, boy, do I know how to talk. But I read The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I knew that. I just still had to look. But anyway, I read this one next, and yeah, I liked it. I gave this one like a 3.7 out of 5 stars, I think, on Fable and Storygraph. Out of the 10 scale, I think I might give it like a 6. It was just kind of middle of the road for me. It wasn't like some amazing thing, but I still I fairly enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, I wouldn't say that this is the worst mystery novel in the world, because it's not. I don't even know what the worst mystery novel is in the world, because I don't read enough of these. I need to, though. So anyway, I did like this. I thought that the main character was kind of insufferable, though. I thought that one of the other main characters, the other, like, woman in the story, was also insufferable. And I thought the male character was also insufferable. Not as much at the beginning as I would say more towards, like, the middle, and, like, I just, like, yeah, all of these characters were insufferable except for Enzo. Is that his name? I don't know. There's like a gardener in this book who, like, takes care of the, like, garden outside of this, like, mansion or whatever, and he's the only character that's not really insufferable to me. So, but basically, this girl gets a job as a housemaid in this very nice house with a beautiful man and a not as beautiful woman, as our main character liked to say a lot. She was like, oh, she's not as beautiful as she used to be. Like, she's a little bit, like, frumpy now. And I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, be a girl's girl. So, anyway, that's besides the point. But, yeah, she gets this job. Oh, and our main character has also gotten out of prison. So, that's also, like, a part of the book where, yeah, this girl has gotten, like, out of prison. But, yeah, she gets hired. She becomes, like, a live-in housemaid. And, she, like, the woman of the house, the wife, is awful. Like, she's awful to Millie. I think that's our character's name. Anyway, yes, Millie, I think. Doesn't even say. Anyway, so Millie, I'm pretty sure, she, like, yeah, the wife is just so horrible to Millie, and then, like, Millie's just not very nice to, like, Nina either. Like, again, she talks so poorly about this woman's weight, this woman's look. Like, she's like, she has so much money, she could look very, very beautiful, but she doesn't. And that bugged me. But, yeah, there's a mystery about, like, why this woman is the way she is. And I, like, where was I going with this? I need to, like, pause, slow down, like, think about what I'm doing. Maybe look at my notes. Sorry. So, I thought the writing was simple. It wasn't, like, amazing. It wasn't horrible. Just, like, simple. It's very digestible, I guess you could say. And, yeah, it didn't really amaze me. And that's why another thing is why I kind of felt like I didn't really find this book to be the most amazing thing in the world, is because, like, it was just very simple writing. And also, I was able to pick up on who the bad guy was basically from the very beginning. I was like 95% sure who the bad guy was, and then at some point, it was like even before halfway, I was like, yeah, this is the bad guy. Like, I know who it is. It didn't really subvert expectations all that much, and I, like, kind of wish it, like, subverted expectations, but even though it didn't, it's still solid. Still a solid read, so that's why I would give it, like, a 6 out of 10. If you really like mysteries, if you read a lot of mystery thrillers, you probably would like this. You guys have probably already read it if you have read mystery novels, so I'm just, like, late to the game. Anyway, but yeah, that's my thoughts on The Housemaid. Alright, and then the book after The Housemaid is this book. It's The Triple Goddess by Rick Riordan. So this is the second series in the Percy, like, in the original Percy Jackson series. There's so many books within this universe. So yeah, we have like the Percy Jackson, and then we have the Heroes of Olympus, where it's like the Roman and the Greek, and then we have the Trials of Apollo series, and then we have this one, which is just like Percy Jackson going back to the first like series. And so this takes place after the Heroes of Olympus, but before the Trials of Apollo series. And it is also, I guess, these books are considered, like, it's going to be a trilogy, but I think they're also considering them as, like, book 6, book 7, book 8. I mean, it says book 2 on here on the spine, but it is also technically, like, book 6 and 7 so far. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, you guys are very smart people, and you probably already know about this. So you probably already know this information, and you're just like, yeah, girl, we know. So anyway, because like it takes place like before the Trials of Apollo and like after the Heroes of Olympus, this is taking place in Percy's senior year of high school, where he's trying to get into college, and in order to get into college, he needs to get into the college that he wants to go to. He needs to get 3 recommendation letters from Greek gods, and so he has to go on quests for them, and so he has to go on 3 quests. So the first quest was the last book, and then this one is the second quest, and then the third book will be the third quest. And I think I liked this one a little bit more than the first book. I just felt like, well, I would say it's like equal ground. I don't think I liked one above the other, but I did feel like this one had maybe a little bit more stakes. Like, I know that everything works out for Percy because I'm pretty sure he makes an appearance in the Trials of Apollo series, and that takes place after these books. And so when you're reading them, you know that the stakes aren't like super high because you know everything turns out in the end. But I think Rick Riordan does like a pretty good job at like getting some like good stakes in there. I really enjoyed that it's the core 3. So we have Percy, we have Annabeth, we have Grover, and I have always loved Percy. I think he's one of my all-time favorite characters, and so just being with him again is always a blessing. Like, one of the main reasons I didn't like the Heroes of Olympus series as much is because we got less Percy, and that's just diabolical. Like, we need Percy for these books to be great, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, I really liked the core 3, having the core 3 as the main characters in these books. And honestly, this book is just, it's a cozy fantasy, basically. It's like a cozy Greek fantasy novel. Like, that's what this trilogy is, I feel like. It gives me those vibes, and honestly, I really enjoy that. I think, because I've been doing this with the other books, I think I gave this a 4-star on Fable and Storygraph. So, yeah, it was a pretty solid, fun read. If you guys are a fan of Percy, you would definitely like this series. It's just not as, like, grandiose as maybe the like original Percy Jackson series is, or the Heroes of Olympus, because there's not as many stakes. But if you really enjoy cozy stuff, you would like it for sure. That is all on this book. Alright, those were the first 4 books that I have read within the past like 8-10 months. If you want to hear my thoughts on the other books that I have read, check out my part 2 when it comes out. And yeah, so keep an eye out on that one. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day and night and whatever time you're in while you're watching this. Anyway, bye!